Hello, Moviesflics here. Today I will explain the American drama film Fahrenheit 451. The robbers go ahead, be careful and take care. The film is set in a futuristic dystopian world. After the Second Civil War, complete dictatorship took over the United States. Countries under dictatorship, so-called firefighters, were appointed to burn everything alive. A book so that people do not have access to information that the department does not want them to know. Books are being replaced by the internet, called the Nine, which contains very limited reading items approved by the service. In the opening scene, he was introduced to the firefighter named Guy Montag. She is in her future home talking to AI who helps her get dressed. Montag has been taught that reading a book is a crime that can lead to unhappiness, mental illness, and conflicting ideas. He has never questioned the department's policies and works tirelessly as a firefighter. While preparing, Montag listens to stories about reading a book and preserving madness, called eels. Eels are considered criminals legally simply for attempting to preserve books and information to them. Montag goes to work that morning to teach the children about the department's principles. He and his mentor, Captain John Beatty, told the children that these were the only books they should read, are books assigned to the ministry, namely, the Bible, To the Lighthouse, and Moby Dick. Montag also burned 2 books to make a show as the crowd cheered him on. At night, they are informed of eels on the move. Beatty, Montag, and their fire crew rushed to the scene singing songs about their courage. They arrived at a house where a couple were trying to get everyone to download literature online. Reading, firefighters quickly stopped them and break their computers. Montag then kicked them out and insulted them in front of reporters. He also burns a lot of books in front of the camera for people to watch happily. But the man laughs at them for believing such nonsense lies in the ministry. He is soon arrested and people praise firefighters for their bravery. Before going home, Montag and Beatty went to the bar to have a drink. Montag talks about his father who became a major firefighter who died in church. We find out that after the death of his father, Montag was raised by Beatty as a brother. Later that night, Clarice meets the informant and they exchange a music record for information. The man tells her about a forest in the forest that serves as a literature depot. When Montag arrives home, he asks the AI if the firefighters were putting out the fire in front of the public. AI declares it false and asks Montag if his precious life is ever changing. It also recommends taking a compulsory drug called drops. Soon Montag receives a call from Beatty and they both go to a forest house in Clarice. Let them know about. Inside the house is an old woman reading a book. He does not respond to firefighters and continues to study. They snatch the book from him to get his attention. Suddenly, a firefighter summoned everyone upstairs to the library containing hundreds of books. Montag was stunned as he had never seen so many books at once. Beatty asks him to see for himself because he may never see such a thing. This again. She also gives the young man one of the books and asks him to read the first line. Montag reads it nervously but is stopped in the middle. Beatty concludes as an example of how their minds can be quickly diverted to books. After Beatty leaves the room, curiosity finds the best of the Montag and hides a book under his shirt. Next, firefighters gathered all the literature on the floor and poured gasoline on it. The old woman is always quiet, but when we are asked to go outside she goes out. He refuses. Instead, the woman walks through a pile of books and burns herself with them. Before death he speaks one word, omnis. Montag looks shocked as the smell of burning meat fills the room. Along with her, the whole world is watching this young woman on fire on television. In the aftermath of the altercation, Beatty is summoned by an official who accused her of negligence. He says the word omnis has taken over the internet, so, in the updated video, to a woman, she wants to say, "coward." The next day, Montag notices a change in the video and asks Beatty about it. He wants to know what the word omnis means, and Beatty points out that it means everything. He uses a woman's suicide as an example to prove that reading books affects the mind, health. When Montag arrives home at night, he asks his AI to close and read the book he has hidden. While reading aloud, AI corrects him in one of the lines. Surprised, Montag asks why it was not closed when the AI responded to that conversation, "You're just between the two of them." Montag does not feel safe in his home, so he leaves immediately. Eventually he ends up in an area near Clarice's home. At first he threatened to leave, but agreed to talk to her after seeing the book. They both go to Clarice's house and read a book together. He also informs her that the ministry was turning people away from reading so that they could rule over them. After the Civil War, they were slowly killing people and taking traditions to create them, one complete rule. He then revealed that the drops Montag takes daily to erase his childhood memories and to make him humble so as not to question the plan. Clarice was born to Eel's parents and was Eel himself. But as he grew older, he got tired of running and ran to the city. As a native, however, he soon became bored and began smuggling literature, but he was caught. So, for now, he is on the block. The night ends as the two play harmonica together. When Montag returns home, he is a completely different person. He doesn't take drops that day to check if Clarice is telling the truth. Because of this, he gets a flashback of the time when he was young and his father used to giving him books. Beatty holds a meeting the next day and reveals that some eels have been able to write codes, the knowledge of thousands of books in DNA. That code is called Omnis, and Eels plans to send Omnis to Canada, distributed. When that happens, the world will have access to all the books that have ever been written, and all of them. The firefighters' purpose will be in vain. To quickly find Omnis, all the firefighters get together and collect eels hidden everywhere, a city and a warehouse. They beat and abused poor men to get information, but they did not move. Clarice was also apprehended by firefighters and taken there. Montag silently stays behind Beatty and watches people being beaten. He catches one of the eels trying to escape and regains a memory of the past. This time, he sees firefighters hitting their father with a pile of books on the floor. Back in the modern era, all eels were kept in line and threatened, but not in it. Point out where Omnis is. Meanwhile, Montag turns off the lights and gives the eels a chance to escape. Firefighters run to catch them, but Clarice manages to escape along with a few other eels. While pretending to be looking for them, Montag finds the little girl and her father hiding in the bathroom. She just closes the shower curtains and leaves. However, Beatty sees him do this and ties up the eels. Later, Beatty calls Montag in his office and angrily asks him why he pretended to be himself. They did not see the criminals. Montag says that because of the little girl, he felt sorry for eels, so that, which Beatty responds by saying that they often use children as tricks, so the Montag should be strong. Montag then took off his coat and handed it to Beatty, wiping her position. Beatty angrily threw a jacket at him, saying he had not wasted much time, teaching him the department's policy of wiping out so easily. He threatens to burn Montag to ashes if he ever betrays him. After corresponding, Beatty assigned another officer to guard Montag. After a while, we see Montag and Clarice meet Clarice with her eel friends. They asked Montag to get in the car and leave. It is clear that the eels do not like him, but Clarice assures them that he is on top of them, on the side. Meanwhile, Beatty sees a video of Montag getting into an eel car and getting angry. Betrayal. Montag is blindfolded and taken to Eel's secret meeting place where he meets Clarice's friends and counselors. They all memorize one book at a time, so even if they are available, the books are there forever. To test Montag's integrity, they asked him to kill his ex-fire extinguisher. Montag was about to stab the boy, but others stopped him, telling him he had passed. After he is finally accepted into the group, he is told about a young man named Clifford. He has a bird with DNA enclosed in a book, called Omnis. Clifford's mother was a geneticist who created Omnis and injected him with a bird. Now, Canadian scientists have taken the responsibility to duplicate a bird's DNA and inject it to all other animals in the world, so that the knowledge contained in the books may be spread. Therefore, they needed Montag's help to send this bird to a team of Canadian scientists. Montag then met the intellectual Clifford with more than 1,300 memorized books. Montag picks up a random book from Clifford's collection to check on him and is pleasantly surprised. With his unique ability, he has been tasked with bringing in a transponder from the fire department for Canadian scientists. They transmit a homing signal to detect a bird. Unaware that Beatty knew her secret, Montag went to the fire station. You can easily get inside the building and you can find the transponder. But before he leaves, he meets Beatty. Beatty asks him if he still wants to resign. Montag plays and says he is ready to attack. But they stopped in front of Montag's home where the media had gathered to report the shocking incident. Information about him. Montag asks no one and just goes inside to get a pile of books. Down, firefighters said the books were found in his house and falsely claimed he was with ill. Beatty asks him to burn the books on the floor and he asks. Suddenly, he finds the memory of Beatty tying her father up for possessing books. But unfortunately he can't do anything. He was taken out and pronounced guilty. Suddenly, Montag grabs his hands on the gun and manages to escape. Clarice picked her up from her car and they both drove to a secret spot. Before they can get there, however, the area is under fire. They burned all the literature and killed most of Clarice's friends and counselors. When Montag arrives, he sneaks into the burning barn and finds Clifford dead, body. Happily, the bird is still alive inside the cage. As he ties the transponder to his feet, Beatty leans back and asks him to stop. Montag looks dead in the eyes and frees the bird. After the flight, an angry Beatty burns Montag alive. In the last scene, we see a bird meet a large herd over Canada. Subscribe for more videos like this, open a notification, and leave a comment to help channel outside. Thanks for watching.